Hi, everyone, and welcome to Making the Case for Standardized Connectivity. I'm Sam Elsner, Director of Solutions Consulting for PTC's Kepware business. Digital transformation demands data. Without access to data, nothing else can happen. Analytics, AI initiatives, process automation, quality, compliance, each of these efforts is only successful with access to high-quality data, reliably at the right place and the right time, with as much context as possible. However, in so many initiatives, rather than a foundational aspect of the project, a plan for systems integration for data access doesn't receive significant attention. And rather than a concerted effort, oftentimes the OT data access strategy is an afterthought. Securely accessing this OT data and making sense of it can be extremely difficult. Missing and incomplete data sets simply because manufacturing is heterogeneous and many different vendors and systems exist with different data silos. Data with little or no context because it's hard to associate the data and make sense of it, especially outside of those operational technology systems and use cases. And then insecure data transmission, meaning getting data where it's needed, can really be difficult. Disparate systems and cybersecurity risks evolve everywhere. And companies need to invest in their OT data networks and infrastructure in order to build a foundation that can be leveraged for AI and analytics and cybersecurity. Access to the data is critical, and contextualization of that data is critical as well. So data needs to be reliably obtained, cleaned, potentially synthesized with other data, stored, served, and delivered to other systems as needed. Folks are starting to talk about this effort as data governance or industrial data operations, or industrial data ops for short. This is very similar to IT or business system, ELT or ETL, extract, load, and transform, just dealing with far more unstructured atomic data as the data source, data from OPC servers and other types of automation equipment. Imagine clean or formatted data needed for training generative AI, like ChatGPT, or simply the ability to quickly export data into a specific industry format or proprietary format. Rockwell, Siemens, Microsoft, and Amazon are putting these types of features in to enable their solutions, and mixtures of established vendors and startups are creating point solutions. This has the potential to be a new type of data control point for IT and business system data access, where in the past this was not standardized or simply not possible outside of what contextualization occurred in the SCADA, manufacturing execution system, or plant historian. But of course, you don't have anything to contextualize or process if you don't have the data itself. And gosh, anyone who has done this knows connecting OT data sources can be difficult. Integrations can result in many point-to-point solutions, disparate and out-of-date collection software like legacy OPC servers and workstation databases, and many times the use of insecure protocols between internal network segments. Things become complex quickly, and this becomes difficult to maintain and also extremely difficult to secure. For process control and data acquisition, access to data is clearly mission critical to current and future success of any organization. And because of that, we position that companies should plan and implement a standardized connectivity strategy. With a standardized connectivity strategy and a standard set of enterprise-class products and tools to enable this strategy, companies can connect everything much more quickly and easily than an ad hoc or piecemeal approach. They can greatly increase the security of data flow to and from their equipment, and they can provide reliable enterprise-class interfaces for IT and OT applications that increases overall data quality and reduces the amount of time it takes before folks are making use of that data. Enter Kepware Plus, our new solution for standardized connectivity across the enterprise. Kepware Plus provides secure IT and OT data integrations, seamless data aggregation across disparate systems. Kepware Plus hosts the broadest and most widely used device connectivity portfolio in the world, and it offers a new enterprise configuration and management utility, securing remote access for system configuration and monitoring. Kepware Server, part of the Kepware Plus package, aggregates data into a single set of access points to enable systems integration, process control, and data acquisition at the edge. Kepware Server allows data from disparate systems to be unified into a single address space. Data normalized into a simple object model and shared via open standards like OPC UA, MQTT, and HTTP. Kepware Server aggregates requests from upper-level systems and consolidates those request automation devices, ensuring efficient communications to equipment without duplicated requests. With Kepware Plus, the included Kepware servers can connect to virtually any device, sensor, or machine. We have an unmatched portfolio of enterprise-class protocol translation tools used for 30 years by customers and OEM partners for critical process control and data acquisition. These tools support modern and legacy protocols, modern interfaces, including proprietary standards from Siemens and Rockwell, and industry standards like OPC UA and MQTT, along with legacy standards like Modbus, OPC DA, SuiteLink, and even DDE. And that's just a few of the more than 300 protocols we can cover with our driver tools. There's truly no better product out there for industrial systems integration and heterogeneous protocol support than Kepware. The quality of our technology is unmatched, as is the breadth and depth of protocol support. And that's why we've been selected again and again over 3 decades to be the OEM provider of connectivity to some of the biggest industrial players in the world, including PTC's acquisition of Kepware in 2016. In order to create that complete data set, we have over 150 driver utilities that connect us to thousands of types of devices. But at times, we come across a device that we don't have a native driver for, which is why we've developed our user configurable and custom interface driver solutions. And while these were effective solutions, industrial environments today at times require a more modern and flexible approach. So, Kepware has released our universal device driver, a flexible, custom driver development utility based on JavaScript, a modern scripting language. The product supports Ethernet integrations today via UDP and TCP data transport and offers client, server, and mixed client-server behavior sets. And in the future, we're releasing native file access to allow Kepware Server for the first time to engage the file system in a general way. This allows us to handle all of the most common communication paradigms seen in industrial environments. Hugely beneficial as a driver developer or systems integrator is to have Kepware host your custom driver because it allows you to focus on the driver alone, letting the enterprise-class Kepware server handle the nuances of HTTP, MQTT, and OPC data server and publishers. We're continuing to enhance our second most widely used PLC driver, the Siemens Suite, with new protocols and security features. This driver delivers a native proprietary connectivity experience similar to Siemens' own proprietary tools. In the last release, we updated our driver to support TLS-based connections with controllers, ensuring that we have the most secure integrations possible to S7 1200s and 1500s. The driver also supports optimized block access and Siemens symbolic tag addressing, along with automated tag generation for quick time to value. Similar to Siemens, we've enhanced our driver for the industry standard 61850 MMS protocol with TLS support, again to ensure the most secure integrations possible to equipment and systems downstream. Kepware Server, included in the Kepware Plus package, boasts a wide variety of IT and OT integration points and facilitates seamless, secure connectivity between process control devices, historians, MES, SCADA, IoT platforms, cloud, and other systems. Data is consumed in secure industry standard formats like UA, MQTT, ODBC, and HTTP. With Kepware Server, custom and point-to-point integrations are eliminated, allowing faster and easier access to OT data, reduced total cost of ownership, and reduced cybersecurity risks. The UA gateway included in Kepware Server with the Kepware Plus package continues to evolve Kepware Server to meet market demands. Our UA gateway aggregates downstream UA servers into a single dynamic address space to facilitate UA data transfer from UA-enabled process equipment to UA-enabled manufacturing and business systems. The UA gateway supports structured and complex data types, UA methods, and modern UA security paradigms, including X509 certificates for authentication. Functionally, the tool is a transparent gateway to pass operations, subscriptions, browses, and method calls between UA clients and UA servers in a manufacturing ecosystem built on UA. Kepware Plus includes Kepware's first new user interface utility in nearly 10 years, the Enterprise Management Tool. Kepware Plus Enterprise Management allows individual instances of Kepware Server to be securely connected to PTC's Atlas cloud infrastructure for the purpose of configuration, server management, and system monitoring. Enterprise management includes global dashboards and version visibility, remote configuration of Kepware drivers and plugin utilities, and integration with Customer Active Directory for best practices for access control and user management. With Kepware Plus Enterprise Management, users no longer need to have physical access or remote desktop access to Kepware systems for day-to-day configuration tasks, relying instead on modern and secure hybrid cloud infrastructure to provide incredibly secure system access. With Enterprise Management, Azure IoT Edge Runtime is installed along with PTC's Edge Agent. Users integrate the Edge agents to target instances of Kepware Server using HTTPS. And from there, configuration and system monitoring can occur in a secure cloud environment regardless of where those servers are physically located. Each instance of Kepware Server connected to Enterprise Management provides version and system health metrics along with access to its Kepware event log for remote system observation and monitoring. The Enterprise Management Version Dashboard allows users to quickly understand versions across their Kepware Server ecosystem, allowing quick decision-making on system updates. New in Enterprise Management is the ability to import and export Kepware Server projects for rapid distribution of similar configuration across Kepware servers. Kepware Server objects like channels, devices, and tags can be individually imported and exported as well. And we also offer the ability to remotely reinitialize instances of Kepware, which is particularly useful during initial setup and provisioning. Building a foundation for industrial connectivity across the enterprise with Kepware Plus can help you future-proof your OT data strategy and realize the benefits of digital transformation. You can accelerate digital transformation initiatives by providing seamless access to data without having to build point-to-point solutions or invest in costly hardware upgrades or machinery upgrades. You can reduce security risks by modernizing, standardizing, and securely moving data from operations to the enterprise. And you can improve operations at scale by enabling data-driven decision-making at all levels of the organization to maximize throughput, lower costs, and improve asset efficiency. To illustrate our value proposition, I'd like to call attention to our recent published case study with Electrolux. Lack of standard OT protocols made it difficult to access asset performance data, and this was further limited by outsourced and manual data acquisition practices. Inconsistent factory architectures prevented scalable connections of IT and OT systems. Given the breadth and depth of drivers available in Kepware Plus, Electrolux can now rapidly connect diverse PLCs, devices, and equipment to acquire real-time asset performance data. Standardized, secure industrial connectivity layer has become a single source of truth for OT data, and rapid access to sensor and operational data allows users to build custom dashboards for visibility at unparalleled speeds. This has allowed Electrolux to reduce scrap and automate OEE-type performance KPIs for faster responses and better understanding of system downtime. And at the same time, a standardized OT data access layer with Kepware has allowed much faster time to value in starting data acquisition projects. So much so that has eliminated outsourcing costs by internally managing data retrieval for the first time. Kepware has a 25-year legacy of enduring, best-in-class industrial connectivity solutions. We're uniquely positioned to enable connectivity at scale because of our ability to connect to virtually any device, regardless of who manufactured the device and regardless of the industry vertical. We're uniquely positioned to share that data amongst your IT and OT systems because we're fundamentally interoperable and open. And to close, we're a trusted brand. More than 75 of the top 100 manufacturers, according to ABI, trust Kepware. Look to Kepware Plus and its included Kepware Server and Enterprise Management tool to provide the best-of-breed data access layer for OT and IT systems, and enjoy the considerable benefits of our long-standing world-class products, world-class support, and most importantly, world-class people. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the field.
Thanks, everyone. I really hope that everyone enjoyed the presentation today, covering what's new in Kepware and a bit about our enterprise strategy. We do have a number of questions in the chat. I think to start off, there were some questions about UA structures and extension objects. I'm happy to say that we have built support for structures, extension objects, and methods in our new UA Gateway tool. The UA Gateway tool is available in Kepware Plus. Currently, we are interested with UA Gateway in aggregating downstream UA servers in order to make the UA data available upstream. And what that looks like is unified or singular namespace of all of your UA node IDs and UA server access points. So we're not converting those structures to other protocols yet. We're not allowing, say, HTTP clients to trigger methods in a UA server or untangle extension objects. We're going UA to UA with these extension objects and structures and method support. But on the roadmap is certainly flattening maybe to JSON structures and MQTT distribution. And we're certainly thinking about other ways of harnessing the power of that OPC UA namespacing and information modeling and making it available to other systems. So I know some folks did catch that we are supporting that, and that's just a bit of a nuance in how that feature is currently implemented in the product. So I'm going to move on to another few questions as well. So the second question was about accessing a trial version of Kepware. We are certainly interested in offering trials. The Kepware server product that includes UA Gateway is trialable from an on-premises standpoint, and you can work with our sales and commercial teams to potentially get access to our Kepware Plus enterprise configuration for trial of the UA Gateway technology. For, say, non-SaaS trials, I would just say reach out to our sales engineering team, and we may be able to do some light enablement with you over our configuration API to trial UA Gateway. But the best-in-class way of accessing UA Gateways through the Kepware Plus Enterprise Management Utility, and that's where we'd want to start your trial. Thanks for that question. And yes, it's important to be able to test for companion spec support, of which we do have broad support, but not all. So the next question was around updating KepServer EX for use with Kepware Plus. Folks have made a business decision here to only support the Kepware Plus Enterprise Management tool with the Kepware Server version of our tool. So KepServer EX, I'm glad folks asked, it does need to be converted to Kepware Server. It is a manual process currently, although we can kick off many aspects of that conversion programmatically. An uninstallation would occur where we'd remove KepServer EX, and then we'd install Kepware Server over the top, and then with a mixture of programmatic and manual activities, restore the exact equivalent functionality in Kepware Server, and then begin the integration to Kepware Plus. Thanks for asking that. The next question is, so how can I change the tag name in Kepware Server for a name convention? Wonderful question. I have maybe 12 slides worth of information I could share with you at some point on naming conventions and how you could bring that to life in Kepware. Simply put, every object in Kepware has a name associated with it. And what we coach customers through is building a naming convention system that's relevant for their business, whether it's ISA 95 or maybe something customer proprietary. And we would work with them to implement that naming convention across the objects that provide the path to the individual data variable. So channel name dot device name dot tag group dot tag group dot tag name, for example, might represent the pathing available, and then we would work with you. You can change each one of those dynamically in real time as needed. And then the name changes can be done through the GUI, or they can be, of course, done through the programmatic configuration API as well. Folks were previously using maybe iFix and Kepware together. By the way, that's a very common use case for Kepware, just providing SCADA systems, the level best drivers needed for that SCADA, like iFix, to talk to production equipment. iFix actually has an OEM version of Kepware available. That's one of the OEM relationships that we've built and maintained over time. The OEM version of this is called Industrial Gateway Server, or IGS. But the long and the short of it is that iFix and Kepware, when they're combined together like that, certainly do represent a heavy industrial SCADA system that is usually implemented by experts. And for students in a learning environment, if they haven't had pretty specific and proprietary training in the GE iFix SCADA, developing a working solution in that can take time, more time than maybe the students could allow for it. One thing I would say, the iFix product is absolutely fabulous. It would be valuable for students to learn. I would suggest maybe taking some proprietary training courses from GE or working with GE to maybe get some student training in that, because it is just one of the most prominent and best functional SCADA platforms out there. There are simpler, maybe less functional, less feature-rich SCADA platforms that maybe at the expense of that feature and functionality and maybe scalability offer just a lot easier setup. I'm not going to go through and name them, but there are many different visualization, trending, data analysis tools out there. And not all of them have the same inherent as a given scale and complexity that a big SCADA system like iFix would have. So we would be happy to work with students. We do it regularly, enabling them on the Kepware platform, understanding how to link systems together over Ethernet, serial, Wi-Fi. And then from there, we can work with really folks who are interested to look at a handful of different SCADA applications that might be best fit to give students a sense of industrial operations without maybe demanding, week-long training courses for setup. Thanks for that question. By the way, we have a sales inbox that everybody's welcome to reach out to anytime and where we can kick off some more granular conversations. This is sales@kepware.com or presales.support@kepware.com. Both of those are access points for our teams. Cases for connection with IoT Gateway. So that's the next question. IoT Gateway provides Kepware some really critical features. These are our MQTT publisher, HTTP publisher, and HTTP server. So absolutely critical for modern industrial environments is the ability to do web standards directly against something that had traditionally been an OPC server or maybe a lower level part of that industrial network. So the IoT Gateway is regularly employed in order to provide data translation from proprietary standards to plain text information models in which we deliver over HTTP or MQTT. We also have a server-side REST API that we've used typically in combination with the HTTP publisher. And what we'll do is publish information to say something like a manufacturing execution system, set points and Boolean triggers and control points. And then we have that passive server-side REST API to allow that same manufacturing execution system to come in and execute deterministic read and write operations for process control. So in that sense, we've used the IoT Gateway to take the place of some superset of API like OPC UA or OPC UA. And the reason why someone would do that is simply just familiarity with HTTP over an industrial standard. Some companies develop their own manufacturing execution systems, and they don't necessarily need to learn anything about OPC because they might have built their systems using REST APIs, and Kepware just becomes another REST API. So that's a perfect use case for IoT Gateway. MQTT publishing, though, I think is the primary customer use, even though the tool supports those three standards and implementations. You can certainly get the slides. We're happy to distribute those after. We'll need to do it in PDF form, but we can certainly send them to you for reference. Next question is automatic asset builder when we use continuous tags. And can we generate the tags automatically? So the answer is yes. In a lot of different ways, tags can be created automatically. So many of the drivers or protocols that Kepware employs, we've implemented features that allow us to scan or observe all of the implemented variables in a process control device. And we can build those automatically within the Kepware application. So this is true for Siemens S7 PLCs, 1500s and 1200s. We support the latest and greatest standard there with automated tag generation. Rockwell Automation's Logic series, BACnet devices, Omron devices, many other standards now allow us to automatically create variables inside of Kepware. And you can kick off that automated ingestion programmatically. So you can call an API endpoint and we can generate tags on demand for you. You can also automatically create tags against our APIs yourself if you know the addresses in the underlying system. So you can pre-create all those variables, for example. As an example, one of the earlier projects we did with Microsoft, this was back in 2016, 2017, after the release of our API, was a helper application that automatically went to Microsoft Azure, pre-created all of the IoT devices, grabbed the SAS tokens, pre-created all of the MQTT publishers in Kepware, assigning those tokens correctly to each publisher, and then pre-creating tags from Modbus, Siemens, and Logix devices, automatically publishing those up to Azure, all within just maybe 2 or 3 seconds after that script ran. And that took advantage of not only the automated tag generation feature in the driver, but also the API that allowed us to observe those tags and then place them into the IoT Gateway's publishers automatically within just a couple of milliseconds versus a mouse click doing it. So lots of different ways to assign variables, especially as part of programmatic deployment of systems. Marcelo, thank you for asking about Redundancy Master for OPC UA. It's something that we certainly considered. For those who don't know, Redundancy Master is a long-standing Kepware tool. It's one of maybe 3 or 4 different products Kepware actually has created over time, Kepware Server being the flagship. Redundancy Master is not getting an update for OPC UA. Instead, what we do is use the OPC UA client driver in Kepware, and it's failover capabilities to provide upper level systems regardless of the standard that they come in. They can use DA, HTTP, OPC UA, SNMP or DDE even. And then downstream, we make OPC UA connections and fail back and forth between them. So essentially, instead of Redundancy Master providing the client the ability of automated failover, we use a copy of Kepware and two components, one driver and then a free redundancy utility. So that was a bit of a fire hose of information, but long story short, for UA needs and redundancy, we've replaced Redundancy Master use with Kepware server use, and just reach out to our sales or technical teams for more information about that. Great question from Devam around monitoring individual tag values in Kepware Plus enterprise management. That is a really critical part of our roadmap. The first few iterations of Kepware Plus have taken advantage of what has been available in our configuration API. So the config API permits us to create channels and devices and tags and manage data logger outputs and MQTT publishers and HTTP publishers. And then next up is a set of features that are just net new to the product. So audit logging for all of the activities, the granular activities within Kepware Plus. And then also we're providing a future state where we would be able to show values per tag within Kepware Plus, either for the purposes of, say, checking the connectivity after creating an asset, maybe like a quick client spot check of, is the value good quality and do I see a value, is it changing? Or potentially even trending over time. So it's still early days for Kepware Plus. The wonderful thing about the Kepware Plus Enterprise Management utility is that we're constantly releasing new features and updates, and immediately folks who are using the tool can take advantage of it. So we don't have to install anything on premise. We don't have to, rip and replace anything. We're just adding features to the Enterprise Management utility over time, of which data visualization is going to be a key part in the future. Yeah, okay, great. So Michael, thank you for asking if Kepware can be used as an intermediary to send process data to historians and analytical tools. Absolutely. That's one of the primary purposes of Kepware over time. Like I mentioned, those OEM relationships that we've had since the mid-90s, many of those have been front-ending historians and analytical tools. So GE Historian, for example, almost always uses a Kepware utility to communicate to hardware assets and software assets on the plant floor. Canary Labs Historian, similarly, OSI Pi, similarly, many historian and analysis products are out there, but they certainly don't focus on creating protocol translation tools. And so they have limited support for network languages. And that's where Kepware's enterprise best-in-class HTTP interface or OPC UA server binds nicely to these historians, and then we'll handle the really hard work of communicating high volume with determinism down to the plant floor. So Scott's asking about Kepware Plus and UA Gateway's ability to consume UA alarms and conditions. Currently, Scott, no, we do not have support for AC. It's something that certainly we've looked at adding into the UA Gateway product for some of those companion specifications and even protocols that were developed on UA, like Euromat 77. That's going to be a critical required part of what we do with UA. I'm not sure when we'll be delivering UA alarm and conditions and what might come before it, but it is certainly something that we know about, and it is going to be critical for us to get there as we add support for more and more UA standard. Great, I think we've covered most all the questions, although I think I have one more. Here we go, yep. Using Kepware to pull measurement data from SQL, make changes to programs and machine centers. Where can I explore other ways to deploy Kepware within our machine shop? So Kepware has, 200, depending on the way you want to skin the cat, so to speak. We support hundreds of different network languages, including this fall we'll support file system access and file ingestion. So the first step to considering what else Kepware can do is get a light sense of the protocol scope and depth that we have. That we have lists and context that we can use to help you. And then looking around at what kinds of business value you might think you can get out of connecting to equipment and then using or processing that information. And then it's just a matter of looking at the necessary languages support, which is something that my team and I help customers do every day. We receive makes and models of equipment and giant Excel spreadsheets of hardware and software systems. And we do research and try to figure out what drivers or protocol integration technology we can bring to bear to move the data around. And from there, it's just a matter of once the technical aspects are decided, the languages are set up, IP addresses and such are assigned, then it's simply a matter of installing and configuring the product. With folks with a little bit of a systems integration background, usually don't find too hard, but that's where my team and then all the enablement material that we can bring to bear really helps. Yes, great question about certificate management and renewal. So this spring, we added support for our UA gateway integrating to global discovery servers. And specifically what this looks like, so taking a step back, global discovery servers are a single point of access for UA clients to identify and then authenticate with UA servers. So it's sort of a central clearinghouse, arbitrating both authentication details, encryption details, and access points. So it has been the case since we added UA to Kepware in 2009 that Kepware can register itself with these discovery servers. So we could always say, hey, discovery server, here we are. These are our location details and how to get access to us. And so if a customer came in with a UA client connected to the discovery server, they'd be able to see Kepware there, and the discovery server would hold our endpoint, our unique identifier, our network path. So a customer would be able to go to one spot and see potentially more UA servers than if they had to identify them one by one. What we did recently was add support for new types of functionality in global discovery servers that swap certificates automatically. And this is called a UA GDS push. It's a service that the GDS can use with UA Gateway to observe certificate expiration dates and swap them. So essentially, when the GDS server is running, it can interrogate Kepware and automatically push a new server-side instance certificate down to Kepware to prevent any access problems due to certificate expiration. In the future, we'll be working on downstream or client-side certificate work as well. UA uses bidirectional certificate exchange in order to unambiguously determine identity and to encrypt the message streams in flight. So we've got half of the GDS certificate integration done. That means just our server side or northbound UA gateway can have certificate management features added. And then in the future, we'll be looking at adding that to a lower level as well. So I hope that explains a bit. Again, drinking from a fire hose, there's a lot of stuff that goes along with global discovery, and it gets into the weeds about how that happens, but I hope that answer gives you some context. Well, listen, I appreciate everybody hanging on and asking great questions, and I really hope you enjoyed the content in the webinar. I love working with customers as much as I am a director of the team. I try to be a player coach as well. So I really hope that I get to work with you, some of you on projects. Feel free to email us, presales.support@kepware.com or sales@kepware.com. We'd love to get into conversations with customers about best practices and designs, and really happy to help research what kinds of systems we might be able to integrate with you. So excellent. I hope to see you all again on the next webinar. And otherwise, in the meantime, like I said in the call here, I'll see you all in the field. Take care.